What's up, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined my partner Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers.
Yo.
So we've been just tracking the craziness in the markets thus far. I have not given you an updated chart because we've been docking this one up pretty good. We actually had a pretty good discussion, I thought, yesterday in general on how this will affect the housing market. I think we're a little bit lower than this. I think yesterday we touched down around 34,200.
Just that was the low. That was the low.
Yeah, that was the low, which was down here. And obviously, so this is the Dow Daily. This is your bigger market, and none of this is investment advice. And we're looking at major incidences like supply chain inflation, Evergrande, and now the Omicron to see if we get a Santa rally, also known as a Santa rally. So Santa rally is are we in play for that? We don't know. But what we do know is that this arrow over here is very significant because this trend line right here is, from a technical analysis perspective, like the end of times trend line. And it's also correlating directly to the horizontal line of the Evergrande day over here. So it's the confluence is very, very good. So, Ryan, what do you got on your end? Anything new?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe for tomorrow, we could probably shrink this chart, like move it over, zoom in, right? Maybe from about halfway, just because like I feel like we're entering a little bit of kind of the triangle esque area that we had when we had Evergrande, right? So in the middle there at your balance point, there's an Evergrande triangle that we built out, and I personally am seeing one right now on the daily, possibly forming, and it's the question of whether or not that Red Friday, as we call it, the Black Friday, the world knows it as, was very much a Red Friday. It was a huge drop. So the question is it going to be a Santa rally? Are we going to get out of that, or is it going to go sideways for a bit and decide, right? That's what I think December's, similar to the Evergrande triangle. I think we're going to see a similar scenario here, and then it's going to decide whether or not it's going to go up or down. That's what I'm seeing right now.
Yeah, and I think as I'm looking here, I'm just kind of looking through some headlines. I think this one's pretty interesting. So this is like you look at, I always look at other countries, say other countries are like beta versions of our country. And this is kind of an off thing, because I'll go into the topic of the.
And what Ian means by beta version is beta is like when you're in the tech world, beta is used as the testers of
the prototype.
Prototype. So when something comes out, instead of releasing it to the masses, you have testers. So that's what Ian's saying, that he's basically looking at, America before they do something is basically uses other countries as beta testers. For example, vaccines in Africa, right? How's the population going to receive it? That kind of thing.
Right. So the thing I see here, I've been paying attention to this. This is like a small one. So in the act of sheer panic, Turkey's central bank intervenes to prop up lira. So the lira, the currency in Turkey, it crashed, right? It was full crash in the past week or so, and 40% down in 3 weeks. So they tried to intervene overnight to pump money in from the government's perspective. They don't have enough money. It didn't work.
What do you mean they don't have enough money?
They can't do it. They cannot print enough money to offset to do it due to the size of the crash and the amount of money.
Did they try trillions? Because trillions seems to be
I don't know why we get away with it and they don't. But the point being is that there is a point where you can't outprint the market. And there's it says, and only a currency collapse and hyperinflation has any hope of dislodging Turkey's batshit insane ruler. So I guess Turkey has a crazy ruler in there. I don't know. But nonetheless, this is a situation where when that doesn't work, it's instant hyperinflation. And now you're paying $1 million for a loaf of bread. So as a prototype or beta, that's an interesting thing to pay attention to, is that it didn't work. The printing money didn't. There is a time when it doesn't work, even though it feels like it could just forever work in our market. There is a moment when it doesn't work, and then you're out. And I obviously they know it's coming because they're just printing and printing and printing and printing. So, again, it's by design. But more importantly, I think what I wanted to talk about with today's show was I'm seeing headlines for this. because they've been watching our show. All of Europe has been watching our show, and they officially warned of rolling blackouts as energy crisis worsens. And then there was another headline back to back on that I saw that was like, where is it? Come on.
I mean, it's crazy while you find that is if America was having rolling blackouts, people would be freaking the F out, right? It would not be a casual headline. It would be, there'd be a lot of angry people.
And then immediately following that, there's another one that says Finnish electricity price jumps 5 times amid unseasonably cold weather and worsening energy crisis. We literally said, didn't we say like part of the ingredients are, hey, it's a cold winter, gas prices go up to 3 or 4 times the amount that you're paying now. People are going to start to notice, and then the supply chain thing becomes more on the radar. So I feel like they're watching our show because the narrative is playing out.
Yeah, I mean, they must be. I mean, I think what they're trying to do, and for anybody who's watched our show, we definitely think there is intent behind all of this. It's to strip away any sort of savings people have, right? Because right now people are dumping their money into, like, you can just download Robinhood, right? And be like, I don't know, I threw $50 into the stock market because I have an extra $50. Or I have an extra $1,000, or I have an extra $50,000, whatever it is relative to your situation right now, you have, quote, play money, right? So strip it away. Disposable income. It's getting stripped away. People are the refis that we talked about. The record number of refis. Yes, that also ties in with the record low rates. Like, now is the time to refi for sure. But how are people spending it? Is it actually being reinvested into a higher return vehicle, or is it being used as spending, right? Is it just being spent? So you strip that out over time, and then all of a sudden you got people who are back on, maybe not everybody's driving that Mercedes as we spoke about, but it'll hit a breaking point, I think. I don't think it's it starts off as a slow decline, and then it hits a breaking point.
Yeah, so you got to strip the wealth, like the excess wealth, from the middle class, and then you kind of see how far that can bleed. That's when we talk about like pain in a crash or whatever. That's what it is really the how much impact people have on their lives day to day. That from a survival perspective, so you go from an excess perspective to a survival perspective. And how much balance is there to that? How much, can you not go out now and use your disposable income to buy a Mercedes because you have to buy food, right? Mm-hmm. Like that swing in use of funds is significant. So when you have these scenarios here right now, which is, Finnish electricity goes up 5 times, some people watching this show, not a big deal. Some people watching this show, I know a guy, his house costs $3,000 to heat in the winter in a normal month.
Just to heat it?
Just to heat it. It's not, I mean, it's a big house.
You should buy new windows.
Should probably buy new windows, yeah. But that's $15,000. That's now $15,000 a month. Right. So even for somebody like that is, I don't care what he's doing for a living. That's significant income. So, or you can take somebody that, is $300 a month, lives paycheck to paycheck, and, their rent's $1,200, and now they're paying $1,500, like they're paying an entire rent check just to heat their house. So those kind of things go, you're not going out to the movies, right? You're not doing that kind of stuff. So how long can the people live in that condition is the question. And then you get civil unrest, and it leads to, people take out their frustrations on, it just boils over.
And all that is with the given knowledge that we have in front of us, right? So that's this story that plays out with the info we have now. We're not accounting for what we haven't accounted for yet, right? It's there's still that black sheep that we mentioned. There's still that
black swan, yeah,
or black swan, yeah. There's still that is hasn't showed up yet. I think it hasn't presented itself yet.
I agree. There still needs to be the catalyst shock effect that sets all this into. Like you need the spark to spark the fire. So there's like a big a bunch of kindling with a bunch of fuel on it, but with no igniter. You need the igniting switch to hit, and that That could be anything. I mean, it could be, the 2008 scenario when that happened. That was just, an overnight thing. It was like there was a lot of already, there was already over-leveraged housing, over-leveraged insurance products. All that stuff was already on the table. And then, boom, the first bank declares it's going out of business. And then it was just a windfall. So
yeah, I'm curious what you think. Do you think we'll see real estate possibly ever get hit like that again? Like 2008, the catalyst was real estate. Do you think the catalyst will be in real estate again? Or do you think?
No, I don't think the catalyst will be real estate. Will it be hit hard? Yeah, it can still be hit hard, but I don't think the actual catalyst, like that was real estate in a world crash being the catalyst. So it was like a double down effect.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'll happen, but you could have a scenario. So more than anything else, real estate was affected in that scenario, right? But in a scenario like this, you could have like if a dollar crashes, you could have a scenario where everything is affected, not just the dollar, right? So what I'm saying is that real estate was affected the most, whereas you could have a scenario where like real estate could still drop 60%, but everything else dropped 60% too. So whereas in 2008, it was just real estate,
Yeah, if you weren't in real estate, you really didn't care.
It's real estate and like the stock market, you felt it too, but primarily real estate. Yeah, primarily real estate. And it was, affected every homeowner, right? So it affected everybody that owned a home.
Yeah, everybody tightened up,
Yeah, they're more, so many people like lost. Well, I mean, a lot of people like went into foreclosure. I mean, that was where, Matt Mironoff and some of those other guys, like that's where their businesses were built because it was like the most foreclosures they've ever seen and potentially will ever see in their lifetime again.
At least that fast, right? Like in that short amount of time.
Yeah, that fast and that many. I mean, it was. But yeah, you're right. In that short amount of time, because you could have, like I said, like you could have, if the dollar crashes and people have to get food, they're not paying their housing. They're going to say, "Come get me."
Mm-hmm.
So I have to feed my family. So that's what would happen too. So you'd have another scenario like that, and but that if you're in that scenario, you're also in a situation where. I don't know. There's a lot that still needs to happen. A lot that still needs to happen at this point. So I just think that we don't know about a Sander rally here, and I think that we need to still watch the end of the week because we are within striking distance. I'll do a new chart tomorrow. We were within striking distance of that 33,600, 33,400 area, and that is our significant place to be right now. That's the place that all eyes should be on that.
Yeah, I mean, what this is like, and it's relevant to what's going on right now. Russia just put another 100,000 troops on the line of Ukraine. At least that's what I read.
Yeah, I saw that.
Whether it's actually happening or not, I don't know. But assuming it is, that's almost like what happened on Red Friday. Like we just saw 100,000 troops lined up, and it's like, okay, we're back. We're back at the. Is something going to happen? Is it not? Because like one green day and we're back to, saying, all right, going all time highs. Cool. Another red day though. It's like, oh crap, here we go.
Yeah, for sure. And you see, when you see that kind of stuff. So from a political perspective, I've noticed that China's also been doing that with Taiwan. And anytime that's like that stuff happens, that's all posturing. But a country won't posture unless they feel that they can flex without repercussions.
Yeah.
Right. So they must know something about weakness in the background, or they're testing the waters here with the United States, right? Because it's always like, what's the United States going to do, right? That's like always it. Well, and that Russian comment was not the first. There's been over the past like month or two, there's been several that have been come out in the European or in the Russian military stuff. The hypersonic missile thing, China, like all these things are coming out, and it's like. You kind of go, what are you going to do, U.S.? What are you going to do? And maybe they know something's coming that they're going to strike when it's weak, right? So they're not going to try to hit us when we're strongest. Why would you do that? So, these are things to consider. I don't know what any of that means, other than we'll see what the end of the week here brings. We'll see what that end of times line brings, and I'll redock the charts tomorrow.
You know what I want to talk about? I know you're trying to wrap it up, but I got to mention it. The trial,
Oh yeah, that nobody knows about.
The one that so we're talking about our world leaders in a pedophile ring.
Mm-hmm.
Not big news. Not big.
No, not a big deal. Not when you have Omicron.
Oh right. Omicron. Sorry,
yeah.
More
they
important
did,
than our
they
world
did drop.
leaders.
They did apparently release wait, I have a headline on that.
Like, if there was riots going on about this, I'd be okay with that. I truly would.
Right.
You know, I not that I would partake, because I don't believe in rioting and destroying, but you know, if there's protests going on, you might get me out at one of those. And I am not somebody who leaves the house often, but something like that is to me very, very important, and we should not allow that from the leaders of the world.
Yeah, here's the article I saw on that. This is kind of a big one, I would think. So the Epstein's pilot names are named recalls shuttling Clinton, Trump, Spacey, and Prince Andrew. That's, I mean, kind of a big deal. You know, what? You know, like why are we talking about this again?
It's not allowed to hit mainstream media, because who controls mainstream media? Like, I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to mention
Spacey
that.
Does. Yeah.
Maybe he'll be the scapegoat of it all.
Somebody's gonna fall on an axe here.
Yeah.
Their sword, and
because I like how they threw Kevin Spacey in there, like Bill Clinton, Prince Andrew, and Kevin Spacey.
we need like kind of a pseudo big name that everybody knows that we can throw under the bus, that has no real power, but because he doesn't actually influence anyone. Kevin Spacey. You know, so who knows? I mean, there's going to be more coming out on it. How long they can keep it covered up, who knows? But yeah, you're right. You're like, why isn't this? But it's because we're meant to know what we're meant to know, I guess.
Yeah.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. I don't see any big movement today so far. Just kind of a little bit more sideways. So tomorrow
could get a lazy green day. All right, sounds good.
Alrighty, cool. Thanks, Ian.
Later. Yep.